guest today is Mike Coutu, who probably people know you from a dozen different hats.
Oh, yes.
But today your hat says Knights of Columbus.
Yes.
So what are you going to talk about?
Well, today we're going to talk about some of the projects that we do locally. Of course, for our group here, which is Council 2285, all of our projects are basically local.
Yes.
We participate in larger scale projects, but the ones that we do here are what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. And some of us already know some of those programs because we see them every year and they're wonderful. So where would you like to start?
Well, let's start with the Coats for Kids project.
Okay.
Okay, that's a project which is similar to what a lot of other local groups do. However, ours has a little different twist to it. So this year, for example, our council put in $2,500 toward purchasing coats. And our national organization matches us dollar for dollar. So which is really nice. So that becomes obviously $5,000 if my math is correct. There we go. And so this year we were able to purchase 216 coats. They come in cases and we buy them by sizes.
Right.
So what we do is
a lot of sizes to cover.
Oh yes. Well, we're very fortunate because we have an agency, a local agency that cooperates with us and takes care of those little logistical issues.
Who are you working with?
We're working with the North Country Supervisory Union.
Oh, great.
So the supervisor of the union has contacts, of course, with all the schools within the union, as well as Orleans Central and two private schools, St. Paul's and over here, Christian Academy. So what happens is all the school nurses send the supervisory union their statistics. We need X number of small coats, X number of medium-sized coats. So we raise the money, purchase the coats, bring them to the supervisory union, and then they distribute them based on what the school nurses say the needs are for each individual school. It's an amazing, collaboration and literally the largest of its kind in the state.
Yeah, that's years of organization and networking.
Absolutely.
That's really impressive.
Right. No, we're very pleased with it. We don't have high brand stuff, so it's not the kind of thing that people are going to take notice. Well, gee, where did you get that $200 coat? They're generic. They're made for the Knights of Columbus by a national clothing maker without any brand names on them.
And no bells and whistles.
No bells and whistles. The
just
kids have no
nice,
idea.
Warm coat.
Right. The coats are just given to them by nurses.
Yeah. Is this a program you want the involvement of others with, like some of your programs, or this one sort of self-contained and doing its own thing and doing it really well?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm glad you mentioned it that way because a lot of organizations do these things.
Right.
But in some cases, I think we're at cross currents.
Yeah.
And I really think it's kind of sad that we compete with each other.
It is sad.
Without meaning to, we compete with each other. What I have attempted to do, and so far haven't had a whole lot of luck, but we're very happy to include other people and other groups. We do take lots of donations from individuals as well, and the big bang for the buck is the fact that our supreme organization matches us.
Absolutely.
So if the ABC Club gave us $500, and that then becomes $1,000,
right?
Because our organization will match it. I wish we could get more of that.
Yeah.
And I did ask the supervisory union if they needed more coats.
And do they?
They said absolutely. Absolutely. And we could expand it if we wanted to. It doesn't have to be just coats for kids that are within the school system. It doesn't include a lot of homeschool kids.
And there are a lot of homeschool kids up here.
And we've got some small groups that have contacted us, so we have included them. But it's hard to get them. We don't have contacts for them.
Yeah. So assuming people watch this video, and people seem to, what would you like from those who are not part of your group, so sort of have a way in that way? What would you like them to do?
I think if they contacted either the Knights of Columbus or the North Country Supervisory Union and expressed that there is a need for coats for kids, children, I'm sure that would be very good.
So there would be a way to contribute.
Oh, absolutely. And
great.
people who wish to contribute monetarily,
of course,
then of course they can always contact the Knights of Columbus.
Right.
Either, well, if they know me, contact me, or contact any of the Catholic churches in the area.
Right.
Because they can always get a hold of me.
Yeah, they can flag you down on the street.
That's
too.
right. That's right. That's right.
Pretty easy to spot.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about being part of a family that's been here 100 years is
right.
you either know each other one way or the other. Sure.
Everybody here is related some way, somehow.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So that's great. I mean, that sounds really like a wonderful project, and that's one I hadn't heard about before.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's been around a while. In the last several years, our national organization has matched us, which is, it's incredible. And our council here in Newport has the largest amount given of any of the councils in Vermont. And there are 32 councils around the state.
Wow.
We outdo Burlington 3-1.
That's amazing.
Well, they always say, what do you guys do in Newport? How can you do all these things in Newport? It's a great community, that's why.
That's true, but that's also a really important question. How is it that you're so successful in engaging so many people, and you obviously are, and raising funds, and yet others in the area are struggling?
Well, I'm not going to say that we don't struggle. We just have to, we persevere. We find different ways to do the same thing. And of course, an important part is that the Coach for Kids and several of our other projects are not restricted to the membership, their families, or members of our church or any particular church. We have another really great project that just surfaced on the streets yesterday, and people will see them around town. It's a Keep Christ in Christmas campaign, which is a really cool campaign. We get these big posters and we put them up all around town. And there are several other churches in the area as well who are participating. So when people see these big posters around town, that's another one of our projects.
Do people know what to make of them?
Well, I guess you look at
because Christmas, as far as I know, is this great big commercial fun fest.
Oh, for sure, but it's...
And I understand that there are roots that are a little different.
Of course. Well, the first 6 letters of Christmas
I get
kind
that.
of tell you that, right? And of course,
not if you
Mr.
listen
Santa
to
Claus,
the ads.
right? Mr. Santa Claus was a saint in Anatolia, which is now Turkey.
Yep.
Sure, it's okay. Everybody's got a different take on it. Santa Claus and the whole Christmas thing as it exists in the United States is something which is not only religious, it's also cultural.
And very commercial.
Well, of course.
Is that the cultural piece?
Well, no, I think the commercial part is businesses have capitalized on something, and of course, don't they with everything?
Absolutely. I walked into Walmart a few days before Halloween. All the Halloween stuff had been ripped off the shelves, and they were stocking it with Christmas. That was just way over the top for me, but
oh yes. Well,
I know it's a business.
Our house was that way. You had Halloween, and 2 days after Halloween, it was Christmas stuff.
What happened to Thanksgiving? That's in between.
Well, I guess it doesn't decorate quite as well. So when people see your porch and it's got a turkey on it, I guess it's not quite as attractive as
the little lights.
The lights,
it's
and
true.
As was everything connected with Halloween.
Right. Well, that's fun. Anyway, so what other programs do you have?
Okay.
Right now?
Well, we have the biggest project we had last year was to help to renovate St. Mary's, the church and the rectory. Those buildings they started construction in 1904, so those buildings were completed in 1909, and if you just do the math, you see that those buildings are well over 100 years, and they're stone, which in this particular area, there aren't a lot of stone buildings,
no, not.
Which is surprising because we had 3 quarries, one in Newport, one in Derby, and one in Beebe, and of course only the one in Beebe still exists. The buildings here are in really serious need of being repointed, which means you've got to replace all the mortar. Right. And the cost to renovate the 2 buildings has been, projected at $1.4 million.
Right.
that's more than our little organization can handle. But we
I'm
decided.
not so sure about that.
Well,
but
let's
yeah.
see. If you've got lots of money and you'd like to contribute, we'd love to talk to you. The rectory project itself was about $400,000. So last year we took on the project and we called it Save Our Priests Home. And we currently have 5 priests living in the building. And so we went out, well, some of our members are contractors and painters and builders and so on. So we took a good look at what it would cost to do the rectory, and it was about $400,000. So we decided to take on that project. So we started phase number 1 last year. We launched the campaign the first Sunday of August, and our goal was to raise $50,000. We were going to match $50,000 in donations from our money. And by the end of that month, we had $68,000. And by the end of the year, we had $78,000. And so last year we put, oh yes, we put a lot. The exterior has been finished. So if you look, you'll see there's new paint, and all the windows have been fixed up, and the bathrooms have been redone. This building itself was the very beginning of Sacred Heart School. It was up on the 3rd floor. So there's a tremendous amount of history. And 100 years of not doing anything to the building. So there's a lot to be done, and that was a huge project. And we did win an award statewide for that project. So we weren't doing it for the project, for the award, of course.
Of course not.
And we've still got quite a bit to go, but we had some very clever people who helped us to go after the things that needed attention first. So we figure that we've eliminated about $100,000 worth of work by not waiting, by taking care of those things that needed to be done first.
And by having as your members a skill base.
Yes.
That's really important.
It is. It's extremely important. And again, when you've got somebody with the skills, and then you've got a dozen men that can come in and help. And let's make sure that when I say the dozen men, most of our projects do not only include our members or
you
the
knew
men.
I was going to come after
Absolutely.
you about that.
A great amount of what we do is very, very significantly either supported or done, let's just say, by the women in our community. And of course, most of them would be the wives of our members. And we need to make sure that people understand that, because that's a very important part of what happens.
It is important, and it's usually been the women who are peripheral to your organization that I've had contact with and learned about your projects. They're really good at spreading your word. Oh,
absolutely, absolutely. And one of my goals is to make sure that people understand in the community that although this organization was founded as a fraternal organization for men, it was originally founded to protect the families. And it was the men that were doing the work. And in a time when women did things at home and did not get involved in external organizations, well, those days are gone.
Yes, they are.
And within our organization, we are now at the stage where we openly encourage women to help us and to be part of what it is that we do. Although technically we're still waiting for the greater organization to make our group co-ed, if you will.
Do you think they'll ever come out of the dark ages
and
recognize it's 2024?
Very difficult to say, but we do have organizations for the women that do a lot of things in tandem with the Knights of Columbus. Many different names of them. One of them is the Catholic Daughters. Another used to be the Daughters of Isabella, which used to be a very commonly known name in this area.
There's still a group, isn't there?
No, the Daughters of Isabella disappeared about 20 years ago. They're another group that it aged out, so to speak. Younger women were not interested. There's a new group that's coming to the area, and they may surface soon, so you'll hear about that, I'm sure, through Linda or other people. So it's a bigger group than what people might think. And we do a lot of things in cooperation with other groups. So it's not just a one-focused thing.
No, when I first moved up here, one of the things that impressed me about the group was how the events that are organized are open to everybody.
Yes, we have one of those coming right up.
Yes.
Right. We have the Shopping with Santa.
I love that event.
It is. It's a great event. And we do it in cooperation with the ROTC program
Yes.
over at the high school and with the National Guard.
And you use the Armory for
yes.
it. Yeah.
I think this is only the third or fourth year we've
Third
done
year,
it.
I think.
But I don't see it going anywhere. I see
No.
it as long as we have a place to do it. And
Right.
Lord knows what's going to be going on with the National Guard.
Right.
But even if the National Guard building is sold and the National Guard is gone, we'll still find a way to make it continue.
Good. And for those who don't know what that program is, it's a wonderful way for those of us adults who have lightly used items to re-gift,
Right.
for you to then allow kids to buy them as gifts for their families.
Right. It's one of those situations where we were able to not reinvent the wheel, so to speak,
Right.
but to reutilize stuff that's already there.
Yeah.
Very, very low impact economically. People bring us all kinds of things. And then some of the things that we have left over, we use later on
Yes.
as prizes or gifts for children. During the trunk or treat this year, we gave
Right.
away a lot of plush animals
Oh, cool.
that we had
Yeah,
left over
sure.
from the Shopping with Santa. And that went over really, really well.
That it did. I mean, I know my neighbors and certainly my household is pulling together stuff that we will take to the Armory, park on the porch because it's a beautiful covered porch, and then it's taken in and
Right, and we get
used.
a lot of the kids from the high school,
Yeah.
the ROTC kids. They come in and they sort
They help
everything
sort-
out.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it's amazing. It's really a lot of
Yeah.
fun, and we get folks that come along and bring bags and of stuff,
Yeah.
and then stay to help us sort it
Yeah.
out.
And you need people to gift wrap.
That's right.
On
We
the
need
day.
people to, well, obviously to sort out everything because not
Yes.
everything's in a good enough condition.
Right.
But that's okay. We can sort it.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, bring it.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out. And then, of course, as you said, we have a system set up so that, little Janie, who's 5 years old, comes
Mm-hmm.
in and she gets her little certificates that she can use, a form of currency.
Yeah.
And she goes around. And the kids love it because it's not something somebody else decided they like.
Right.
It's something they
Yeah.
look at, and they learn a little bit about some skills about shopping
Yeah.
and economizing their
Right.
money. So we try to
Figuring
build a little bit
out
else
who
into it.
wants what for whom. And the kids who are doing the shopping go with a different adult, not a family member, right?
To be honest, I don't know that little detail
I
because
think-
I've always sat up there with my white beard.
Oh.
So I have a different sort of job.
Are you an elf or are you Santa?
I do believe he's an overgrown elf. Yes, and I fit the description. Or as they say, I resemble that remark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I'm Father Christmas in some countries and Santa Claus.
Absolutely. Saint Nick somewhere else, and it just goes on.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's a really important role.
So on the 14th, from 1 to 3, I believe it is,
Yeah.
if you have a little one who is in need of a little Christmassy spirit, Christmassy activity, bring them along.
Yeah. And I know from my neighbors' kids who've gone, they absolutely love it.
Well, every year when the debate comes up, do we do this?
Of course you do.
There's no discussion.
Yeah.
And when we got the news that the National Guard might be moving out,
Yeah.
we were a little concerned, but well, we're of the opinion that somebody from above will find a new place for us, so we're not really worried.
I would bet a new place will turn up.
I'm sure it will.
That you have so much sort of space available up where you are anyway.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So that building may be perfect for now, but something else will show up.
Well, and someday down the road, when the buildings up at St. Mary's have been taken care of, our ultimate goal is to put a large, we call it a parish hall, but it
Yeah.
would be used for community level events as well. We were kind of hoping that when the Sacred Heart building was purchased, they would use some of that for something along those lines. But so far, we're not hearing anything. No. We're not hearing anything along those lines.
It's funny, 'cause the last time people from your organization came on this show, probably 2 years ago now, we talked a little bit about that because it was just a dream then. And it's still a dream.
It is a dream.
But it's a practical one. We need a community center up here, and whether you call it a parish hall or a community center or a social center, we need something like that.
That is absolutely true. If I can digress for half a second.
Feel free.
I'm also the Cub Master in this area for the Cub Scouts. And last night we used the gym over at the United Christian Academy. And I was thinking, gee, this is good, and this is what needs to happen around the community, is that different organizations that have facilities need to have other organizations be part of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And we have other places. We have the Masonic Temple has a space.
Yes.
And that's one that could be used for other
nice
things.
Space.
Sure it is. And there are other places as well.
The municipal building has space, and they have a lot of activities there anyway because other groups are partnering.
Right. So another old building I hope that we are not foolish enough to tear down, because there's an awful lot of history there.
Yeah, there is.
Right.
That's a mighty complex building to renovate, though.
Yeah, I suppose
no, I
so.
get it. Yeah.
I suppose so. But like anything else, if local organizations like ours and others will put their heads together,
right,
instead of putting their heads in different directions, maybe.
What a novel idea.
Gee, imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thou shalt not cooperate, right?
I think it's about who gets credit, who's the one who gets to say, I fixed this, as opposed to, we fixed this.
And one of my basic philosophies is what the purpose of what you're doing, for what you're doing, is far more important than putting your name on it.
I couldn't agree more.
Because you put your name on it, somehow in my mind you diminish the value.
Yes.
You know, we don't say the Knights of Columbus shopping for Santa. We say shopping for Santa.
Right.
Because we want the entire community to be part of it.
Yes.
If, oh, by the way, we gain a member because he likes what's going on, wonderful. Mm-hmm. And we leave all those things in others' hands.
Which is really important.
I think it is. I think it is. And our group is wonderful because we are a group of like-minded individuals who very much have those types of thoughts in mind.
Do you have younger people coming in, or are you another group that's sort of aging out?
Well, we are doing very, very well.
That's great.
Yeah, amongst the other councils in the state, in the past year and a half, because we're about halfway through our fiscal year now, in the last year and a half, we've gained more members than any council in Vermont.
Huh.
So we're doing very well, and we have some with young children, which is nice. Certainly, if you look back on us, 15 years ago, the average age was probably 5 or 6 years older than it is now, because we're bringing in younger gentlemen, and that's important. So yes, in that way, we're fighting the trend. We had a meeting last week which had 3 times as many as our normal monthly meetings, and we were just flabbergasted that it's working, it's coming around.
Where are they all coming from?
Oh, well, we include the churches that formerly were the Island Pond Parish, the Derby Line Parish, and the Newport Parish. We're all one now. Okay. So our members come from that area. It's a very, statistically, as far as area is concerned, we're the largest council in Vermont. Because our width is about 50 miles.
Yeah, it's a big area.
Absolutely. We have people who come from Norton, from Bloomfield, from the other direction. There's a council in Troy and one in Barton in Orleans, so we don't go south. But we have all the Newport, Derby, Holland.
So you're Orleans, Essex, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's interesting. Do you do events in Island Pond and Norton and places out there? Because it's a long way for people to come in here, particularly if there's no transportation.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that we're very fortunate about is that one of our members purchased a former church and renovated it, and we now use it as our meeting place, and it's right in the middle.
Of which town?
It's in Charleston.
Huh.
So now members from the Derby area, the Newport area, Newport Center, not North Troy, but Newport Center, and then all the way out to Island Pond.
Right.
Everybody has to travel about the same distance.
Right.
So we eliminate this Newport Derby, what do you want to call it?
I was
Competition,
going to call it
if you will?
something impolite, but you know,
Sure,
we're on
sure.
air,
No,
so I
competition,
won't.
if you will. Now everybody has to
that's
travel.
great. That's
and
good.
Oddly enough, we were very concerned about that at first, but it seems that if everybody has to travel, everybody's willing.
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
interesting idea.
Yeah. It's about who gets credit again.
Yeah.
In some ways.
This way nobody gets
Right.
credit, and so everybody's
And you can
satisfied.
share transportation.
We do.
Carpool.
That's right. Yeah, another novel idea.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I remember when that was something that people started to do back when gasoline hit $1 a gallon. You know, oh, let's carpool. And then all of a sudden, well, it really doesn't matter, but it does. So.
Right. It does matter.
Right. Well, the nice thing is also
It's social.
We get, that's right. We get ideas as we travel
Yeah.
about things we need to discuss.
No,
and
I think
it works
it's,
well.
It's a really smart way of doing it.
Well-
and as gas is continuing to go up and vehicles are so expensive, and as we age,
Right.
we don't want to drive at night.
Well, if we still got time, I would like to talk about the Christmas raffle.
Please do.
All right.
We've got time.
Okay, great. We've got a Christmas raffle that once again started by one of our important couples 10 years ago, and it's going great guns.
Yeah.
This year we're giving away $11,000 in it's mostly cash
Yeah.
and gift
Stuff.
certificate prizes. Well,
Yeah.
it's not stuff.
Yeah.
We deliberately don't have items because a lot of our supporters and people who
Yeah.
buy the tickets live 1,000 miles away.
Right.
So we decided several years ago that we would only do cash prizes or gift certificates. And so that's worked very, very well. So we sell tickets, they're $10 a piece, 3 for $25, or you can buy as many as you like. And we do have a lot of people who buy far more than that.
Oh, probably.
Right, they're available at all the local churches or any member of the Knights
Or
of Columbus that you know.
Buzzy's Redemption.
We have a
That's
number
where I
of-
bought mine.
Right, a number of local stores sell them.
Yes.
Jimmy Quick sells them, the Pick
Yeah.
and Shovel. Buzzy sells
Yeah.
them. Modern Furniture, Agway. Paul DeSells has them at his shop. Quite a number of places, and they're really, really good about doing it. And our goal, of course, is to sell $25,000 worth of tickets this year, and we're well on our way. We're doing very well. And how we work it is we have all of these prizes divided up amongst the first 24 days of December. So depending upon how many prizes, for example, the first day on December 1st, we will go and we will draw the winning tickets at 2 different businesses.
Right.
And what we do is we go, and 2 people, it'll be myself and another member of the Knights, we have this giant box that's got all the tickets in it, and somebody will put their hand through a hole that's got, so it's got a situation so nobody can see the tickets, and they withdraw a ticket, and that person is the winner, and we'll announce it, we'll record it, and then we'll announce it on...
Newport, Vermont rocks.
Exactly.
And everybody is glued to those videos.
Oh, that's great.
It's really addictive.
And here's the best part. Let's say that little Johnny wins the ticket, wins that prize. Then we put it back in the box, and we draw the next winner. Last year we had several people that won 2 or 3 times.
And some of us have never won.
Well, that's because it's waiting for you.
Yeah, right.
Right. So we do that each day, and then on the 24th, Christmas Eve, we have all the big cash prizes. And I can't remember off the top of my head what the smallest prize is, but the biggest prize is $2,400 cash.
Wow.
So we have $2,000 or $3,000 prizes, a couple $500 prizes. It is really nice, and that day, the Christmas Eve day, there's going to be some very nice Christmas presents
That would
for
be
some
wonderful.
individuals. It is. Now, one of the interesting things is that if you were to buy 4 sheets, which is $100, that'd be 25, 25, 25, and 25, then the person who sells it to you gets a free sheet.
Wow.
So the nice thing that happens there is that, let's just say the ABC company sells tickets for us, and they sell 4 sheets, and they get a free
ticket
sheet.
too.
A lot of them put their employees' names on them.
Oh, nice.
Or, like some individuals, they put individuals in need, their names
Even
on
nicer.
it. Or it'll say, for example, for a family in need.
Cool.
And then we have a list from the local Nurses Association of who is in need. So there are lots of ways to make that be a double Christmas present.
It's fabulous.
So buy tickets, buy them now.
I did.
Very good. They're on sale.
I didn't buy 100 though.
Well, that's quite all right. We'll stop selling them about the 8th.
Okay.
So,
well, you've still all got time to get out and buy those tickets.
Absolutely.
And we are out of time.
All right then. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for coming in. I think your programs are wonderful.
Ellen, we're always looking for new ideas. So if you've got some, come see us.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm sure somebody from the Knights will be back in another year or so because you've always got more going.
Very good.
So
thank you.